Good evening. Welcome to Black Conservative Voice with your host, David Colbert. We're here this evening. We're going to be discussing some things that are in the news at this time. A couple of days ago, our President Donald J. Trump, on Monday, he held a press conference in the Rose Garden. President Trump conference on Tuesday, Tuesday at 5 p.m., the White House announced, and a source familiar with the matter said the president will use this opportunity to discuss China during the event. The press conference also comes to the president pushes forward with his campaign to reopen schools in the fall, while some states face what they're saying is a spike in coronavirus. Today, the president's quote, on Monday, an administration rejected nearly all of China's claims in the South China Sea, wading into one of the most sensitive regional issues in Asia and further escalating tensions between Washington and Beijing. Today, the president says, today we are strengthening U.S. policy in a vital contentious part of that region, the South China Sea. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said in a press release, we are making clear Beijing claims to offshore resources across most of the South China Sea are completely unlawful, as it is its campaign of bullying to control. Okay, so moving on. In the early months of the pandemic, the president and the White House, the coronavirus task force, held a press conference every day to give an update on the administration's response. Trump has vowed to very much put pressure on the nation's governors to reopen schools come fall, even threatening to withhold funding for schools that announced plans to teach virtually. Last week, the president said he disagrees with the CDC's very tough and expensive guidelines for reopening the schools. We talked about this before. He says, I disagree with the CDC on their very tough and expensive guidelines for opening the school. Trump tweeted Wednesday. While they want to open, they are asking schools to do very impractical things. He added that he was meeting with the CDC later that day, and he did meet with the CDC. A coronavirus map has been drawn up, and they have that to kind of go by. According to the map, on the states are trending for the better: New York, Massachusetts, Maine, New Jersey, and around 16 other states. Only 4 states they're saying are trending for the better. And you notice these 4 states are Democratic territories that have Democratic governors. This is really a joke. Around 16 states, including Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Washington, are in limbo, and caution being warranted in the number of cases increasing. Now, I've heard some news of recent days, and this is what I believe, why I believe the president has recently made a statement in the press about telling hospitals to send their data to the White House, to the administration for review, not the CDC, because there has been some false reporting. People are linking people with COVID-19 in the hospitals, and a lot of people are near death, and they're tagging COVID-19 on the end of those cases to raise the number of cases. And we found out recently that a lot of the cases that they predict or say exist also count the number with people with illnesses that are subject to possibly getting, those who have diabetes, heart disease, some other ailments that are close to getting, would be in danger of getting the virus. They are attacking those people onto the numbers as well. So I'm anxious to see what the president and the White House and administration finds out what the exact numbers are. Dr. Burke, we can respect her because she is being honest. She said the numbers that are being reported are too liberal. Of course, Fauci's continuing his same old thing with fear-mongering. As Lieutenant Governor of Texas said, Dan Patrick, he will not listen to Mr. Fauci anymore, Dr. Fauci. California is listed with an uncontrolled spread with 219 cases per every million people. 219 cases? That's no big. Even that's a flu. That's a very small number for a million cases, 219. The state has seen significant gains in rates as infections continue to climb, forcing Governor Gavin Newsom to reimpose restrictions and business closure. So the cat's out of the bag. They're trying all these different things and trying to hurt this country. But I guarantee you, our president is going to stave off these false reports that are being put out by the CDC. Texas, Florida, and Georgia are also seeing giant upticks. Now you notice they're saying Texas, Florida, Georgia. All those states have Republican governors, guys. This is just another ploy by the far left to push things toward the Republican Party. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll come back at you in a moment. This is Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Welcome back to Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. As of Monday night, the U.S. reported more than 3.3 million confirmed COVID-19 cases and 135,000 deaths, which really was reported by Johns Hopkins Hospital. But this is pure foolishness, people. A lot of the things, I was wondering at one time why these numbers climb so fast. And the reason why they climb so fast is because they're including everybody. Even they're including the people that have been proven to have antibodies against it. They're including them and the ones who have just got COVID-19, which means that they are inflating and bloating the numbers just to suit their cause. This, people, we have got to get together in November and vote these radicals out of Congress. Georgia Lieutenant Governor states we must build trust after a very disturbing Rayshard Brooks death. The White House on Monday said that President Trump stands behind our dedicated law enforcement all the way, but that executive order would help uphold clear and high policing standards, promote accountability in law enforcement, and help equip police officers for constructive community engagement. Trump went out of his way to underscore his support for the police, and his comments Tuesday, quoting statistics about the number of arrests made by local law enforcement for severe crimes like rape and murder. I quote, I strongly oppose the radical and dangerous efforts to defund, dismantle, or dissolve our police departments, especially now when we've achieved the lowest recorded crime rates in recent history. Trump said while acknowledging a tiny number of bad police officers, without police there is chaos, without law there is anarchy, and without safety there is catastrophe. Trump added, when you remove the police, you hurt those who have the least the most. The details revealed about the order Trump tracked without lies that White House had released previously. On to the next story here. We're going to be talking a little bit about this issue that's going on in the press right now with Miss Ivanka Trump, the president's daughter. She handles the affairs of the White House. Only the media and the cancel culture movement would criticize Ivanka for showing her personal support for the company that has been unfairly mocked or boycotted and ridiculed on supporting this administration, one that has consistently fought for and delivered for the Hispanic community. White House spokeswoman Carolina Hurley said in a statement, Ivanka is proud of this strong Hispanic-owned business and deep roots in the U.S. and has every right to express her personal support for Goya. Jordan Leibowitz, communications director of the nonprofit Watchdog Citizens for Responsibility Ethics in Washington said Ivanka Trump posting, "It appears that Ivanka tweeted an endorsement of product in her official government capacity. That would be a violation of government misuse of position regulation." And it further sends the message that senior Trump officials believe that government ethics don't apply to them. Yes, of course, the liberal media in USA Today, which is where Mr. Leibowitz is shifting his garbage speak to, the organization plans to file an official complaint about the tweet with Office of Government Ethics. Do these people have anything else to deal with here? Do they have anything else to say? I mean, this is just pure foolishness. Now, okay. Now, let me see if I got her quote here. Let me make sure I got this quote, because I want to share this quote with you that Ivanka made about. Let's see. She said, if it's Goya, it has to be good. And to me, that's a kudos for the Hispanic and community here in this country. This man started from scratch, came here, he achieved greatness through the marketplace here. And of course, you would know that Representative-elect Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York, the privileged lady out of Yorktown Heights, weighed in on the controversy with a play on the company's slogan. "If it's Trump, it has to be corrupt," she tweeted in Spanish. What an embarrassment to the Hispanic community she is. Former Representative Zach Wamp, a Republican of Tennessee, said it was a clear violation. Well, we'll have to investigate that, Mr. Wamp. I like that name, Zach Wamp. Zach Wamp, get him. Okay, both parties should call this out or we end up like a banana republic. Surely they have better, he tweeted. Okay, we need to get away from this foolishness. This is a waste of time, a waste of the taxpayer money, because these people, all of them, are public employees. Now, moving on. In USA Today, and I'm going to read it, and USA Today is kind of a liberal rag as well, but Ivanka Trump is facing questions of whether she violated White House ethics rules as a result of social media posts that promoted Goya, whose CEO angered opponents of President Donald Trump last week. The president's oldest daughter on Tuesday posted an image of Twitter holding a can of Goya black beans, along with caption featuring the company's slogan, as I said earlier. If it's Goya, it has to be good. And I encourage you to boycott Goya. Go out and buy them. I can advertise for them if I want. I want you to buy Goya. Buy them. Make them the wealthiest Hispanic company in this country, if you will. Moving on. Now CNN. Oh boy, here we go. Another liberal reporter. CNN, 4 months before the presidential election, Ivanka Trump, advisor to her father, President Donald Trump, is promoting a new ad campaign dubbed Find Something New. Now, you know, on the surface, this doesn't look like a problem, but the Democratic Party and the liberal fake news will come up with anything to challenge anything that's coming out of the Trump administration. Aimed at helping unemployed Americans find new careers, the initiative launched Tuesday with virtual roundtable hosted at White House featuring Ivanka Trump and business leaders, including Apple CEO Tim Cook, and reveal of one of the ads, a 30-second spot with a handful of people telling their employment stories. Now you see how USA Today puts a handful of people. Like a handful of people is not representative of the whole. And to me this is garbage. If the company's helping this set of people, you can't bring thousands and millions of people on TV to show off the fact that this program is affecting that many people. We're going to go ahead and take a break right now real quick, and we'll be right back at you here on the Black Conservative Voice and CTM News, the voice of truth. Welcome back to Black Conservative Voice. Now, as a result, people need to, unfortunately, In some cases, learn a completely new skill, said Trump on Tuesday during the launch. But that is also an opportunity to put on for new trajectory for themselves and their lives, and we want to facilitate that connection back to the workforce and make it as smooth as possible. I'm looking to get into that program too, if I can, to find some information out about that. Find Something New was swiftly criticized on social media, most vociferously for the title, which can be interpreted as too simplistic, a catchphrase to describe the unemployment meltdown happening for millions of Americans as global pandemic continues to ravage physical and financial health. Yes, the global pandemic that this Democratic Party in this liberal country, or the liberal media in this country, is promoting and blowing up the results. And I am so happy that President Trump is taking these numbers and this data into his hand so he can track it through his people and keep it from being corrupted by CDC and all these other groups that want to frighten you and make you afraid of living. We're in a free country that had the flu. Thousands of people died of the flu. So what are we running from another flu? It's still, the flu was a coronavirus. SARS was a coronavirus. The common cold is a coronavirus. And none of you know that. And there is no cure for the common cold. So the very fact that they think they're going to find a cure for this, they better hope that President Trump does not find a cure for the common cold, or they will really be in trouble. Still unemployed workers plead to Congress to extend federal $600 a week benefits. Now, whose fault is that? The Democrats control the Congress. The Democrats, because of their foolishness and they're grabbing for extra crap to put into their bills, they're also hurting people like me who are self-employed, who have found new careers, which I'm here right now. This is my new career, and I do ask for your support through your sponsorship. Our sponsorship is very cheap, so you can pick up spots here, as many spots you want. But I got 3 spots per night most of the time, and that's 5 nights a week. And he says, I beg them, still unemployed workers plead for Congress to extend federal $600 benefit. And I've heard people, even employers, say that this benefit is keeping some people from coming back to work because they are just enjoying that $600 a week because it's more than what some of them make. The nation has gone through an unprecedented economic meltdown in recent months, triggered by governors requiring residents to stay at home and non-essential businesses to close and slow the spread of coronavirus. Now, I heard somebody say today, and this is really interesting, I just got to point this out. Have we tried to slow the spread of the flu? 60,000 people die per year here in America for every flu epidemic that happens. Did we stop everything to slow the spread of the flu? Now, I'm going to tell you, as I said earlier, you heard me, you may have missed it, but the cat is already out of the bag. You can do whatever you want. You can close the door, lock yourself in. If it's out of the bag, it's out of the bag. If you're going to catch it, you're going to catch it if it is an actual thing to catch. Hiding in a room in the basement of Mr. Biden is not going to resolve the issue. So we're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back at you in a minute here on the Black Conservative Voice. And I'm David Colbert. Welcome back to Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. In April, while tweeting U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention guidelines for people to stay home as the pandemic spread and during a non-essential travel ban set in place for Washington, D.C., Trump went to her family vacation home at the Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster, New Jersey. Over the July 4th holiday, Trump posted on her social media for people to be safe and to follow state and local guidelines to keep you from loved ones safe. Now, to tell you the truth, I'm not really for this thing. Everybody's trying to say, well, stay safe. If you want to stay safe, lock yourself in a closet, don't ever come out again. Because the reality is if you step out your door, you are subject to being hit by a car, you're subject to being murdered, kill anything. As soon as you step out your door. Does anybody talk about the children and all the people that were killed in these protests and these riots that are going on? And as a note on that, we're going to continue a little bit and we're going to close it with this. But you're watching Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Who's behind the violence at George Floyd protests in the U.S. by Jamie Dittmer? Now, I'm not going to read all your comments, Ms. Dittmer, because some of them are liberal posts and opinions. Who's behind? President Donald Trump and some of the top officials accuse radical left agitators for the mayhem. U.S. Attorney General William Barr points the finger at a far-left extremist group, including Antifa and a network of confrontational, anonymous far-left groups. A woman holds a sign addressing at the protest Antifa in Los Angeles on June 1st, 2020, over the death of George Floyd, who died on May 25th in Minneapolis. A woman holds a sign addressing Antifa. Some Democratic governors, have blamed far-right groups, highlighting an announcement this week on social media giant Twitter, and has suspended sites that link to white nationalism. And they say that they were trying to use Antifa's name and some other names to blame these things on them. But it says here, meanwhile, meanwhile, members of a so-called Boogaloo movement, amorphous collective, far-right, they try to say, and far-left elements. And they're always trying to blame stuff on the right. But as far as I know, the right, and most of the time, if you're right, you're going to try to do the right things. You're not going to be trying to destroy personal property and private property. People, including activists like Boogaloo movement, rallying the State House in Concord, New Hampshire on May 2nd, 2020. People, including activist Boogaloo movement, rallied to state, and that was on May 2nd. Researchers at the Counter Extremist Project, an international policy organization formed to monitor and combat extremism group, say white supremacists and neo-Nazis, have been celebrating the past week of mayhem on the streets. Okay, but it is unclear to what extent radical groups of left or right have been able to do. Now, New York's Deputy Commissioner for Intelligence and Counterterrorism, John Miller, believes anarchists and radical left groups have been stoking the fury in the city before the protests began. And he told reporters organizers of certain anarchist groups set out to raise bail money, and people who would be responsible for raising bail money, they set out to recruit medics and medical teams with gear to deploy in anticipation of violence and interactions with police. He added they prepared to commit property damage and directed people who were following them that this should be done selectively only in wealthier areas and high-end stores run by corporate entities. 1 in 7 of those arrested in New York for public order offenses has been from outside the city, which made officials suspicious. The law enforcement officials in several other states, the cities contacted VOA, say they believe out-of-state actors seated themselves within overwhelming non-violent local community protesters. That's correct. They're seating themselves in these groups, and they're going to make the group look bad. So the ones that are causing a major problem, now some people in Black Lives Matter who assume that they're doing something right, or have lined themselves up some of them are not educated properly in these things, and they've lined themselves up with a Marxist organization. So I just want to thank you for listening this evening. You have been listening to David Colbert, and this has been the Black Conservative Voice on CTM News, the Voice of Truth. Thank you for joining me, and remember, as I always end, God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world.